Yo, g'day warriors. I hope you are all doing incredibly well. So, in today's video, we are going to discuss the best exercises to rehabilitate from brain surgery, or in my opinion, what the best exercises are. But just to let you know, I am a personal trainer. I do have a background in exercise prescription, and I've also had brain surgery, so I kind of know what did and didn't work for me, and I'm gonna share some of the information with you now. So this question was sent in by Ashwarya. So thank you, Ashwarya, for posting a question in the comments on one of my previous videos. Guys, it really helps when you guys post questions in my videos because it lets me know what you actually want to hear from me instead of me just assuming things and blurting stuff down at you guys and creating videos that you don't want. I would rather make specific videos specific exactly for the questions that you guys have. So yeah, thank you to Ashwarya for chucking a question in the comments of one of my previous videos. Ashwarya, you've done a few questions now, so I love that you're coming back and visiting my videos again. And I'm assuming that the answers I give you are all working. That's why you continue to come back. So today's video, I'm going to break down in three parts. Part number one, I want to talk about the best rehab exercises for brain surgery. Part number two, I want to share with you a little secret that I did in my rehab journey that I feel sped up my rehabilitation. And then I want to end the video in point number three with the best piece of advice that I've ever received around how to rehab from brain surgery. Alrighty, guys, let's dive in. So, point number one. So, to give you a bit of background, I spent 5 weeks in hospital and another 5 weeks in a rehab facility. I was very, very, very lucky because in a rehab facility, every day I did physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech pathology. I had a lot of people helping me with my recovery. Now, I'm not naive enough to sit here and think that everyone out there has all that help or a big support network like that. Some of us have to do a lot of this recovery journey at home on our own, and I completely get that. And a lot of this advice will still resonate with you as well. So continue to keep watching. But yeah, I was really, really lucky. But when I was in hospital, and I can only assume most hospitals, after you've had brain surgery, most hospitals will actually have an in-house physiotherapist who will come around and try and get you to go for a walk. In my situation, it was with a walking frame because my legs weren't working at that stage. For some of you, you might be able to walk. You might need a walking stick. You might need a frame as well, or you might be in the same situation with me where you couldn't walk and you really have to attempt to do it. My advice: when that physical therapist comes around to you, you may be so fatigued and tired and you may be drowsy from your medication, but do your best to actually get up and go for that walk with them. There were days where I just wanted to lay in bed. I was so drowsy from my medication. My legs weren't working. I'm like, no, you know what? I don't want to go for a walk. But I knew that if I didn't, I would never get better or my recovery journey would be so slow. So I did what I can. For that physical therapist in hospital, I hope most of you had the opportunity or will have the opportunity to have one of those. Get up and go for walks with them. Your body just will love that, going through the motions of the walking and step by step and retraining your brain to recover and rehabilitate. And this will, be really shown in my point here. Your brain loves repetitions. The more you can do something, if you can do a thing 1,000 times, you'll get better and better and better at. For me, it was walking. I couldn't walk for 3 months, guys. I had to teach myself to walk again. And I really put the hard effort in. I remember so clearly, I got myself around to it was this wooden step, and it was meant to be for rehabilitation. You're meant to be able to step up onto it and step back down. I, in my head, tried so hard to move my leg to step up onto this step, but I just couldn't do it. And I actually thought of this yesterday when I was at work. I walked up a staircase and I'm like, remember that day in hospital when your brain was so traumatized and your legs were so affected, you couldn't even take one step? And now here I am at work walking up and down a staircase. So it's great, and you can come a long way. But in those early days, you really need to have those repetitions of step, 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 step. It may seem like a lot of hard work or pointless, but Your brain loves repetitions, trust me. So, point number two, and the thing that I did that I really think accelerated my recovery journey, I made a point to always arrive early to my physical therapy sessions and always be the last to leave. So what that meant was my physical therapy sessions were always at 9:30 in the morning and 1:30 in the afternoon. I would get there at 9:20 a.m. and also again at 1:20 a.m. p.m. Sorry. I would get there for 10 minutes before everyone else, and I would just cycle on the bike, on the stationary bike, cycle, 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 cycle. Not only was this adding my repetitions up and getting my body used to new movements, I was training my brain to have a harder work ethic and putting in the hard yards and training my brain to overachieve. And I'm going to get there early, I'm going to leave late. There were days when I was in rehab, I didn't want to go to physical therapy. But if I wasn't going to help myself, no one was going to help me. So every single time I went to physical therapy, I went early and I left late. And if other patients and people that were in the session were hanging around and talking to the physician, I would make a point of staying there longer than they did and just sat on a bike and just around and around and around. And yeah, I'm looking down at my notes. I missed one thing of point one. Every single exercise that a physical therapist will request for you to do is beneficial. There's no one exercise that rules over them all. All of them added up over time. These little steps sideways, getting up and down off a chair, everything you can do in a rehabilitation exercise session from a physical therapist or something you found on the internet or something you found on YouTube, just do it. Getting those repetitions of any exercise is good. There's no one single king exercise. They're all king. Sorry, and then we can go back to point number two. So yeah, guys, I just used to arrive early and leave late, and that work ethic has stuck with me all the way through now. I'm not saying I'm a hero. I'm not saying I'm a Navy SEAL, but I think my background being a personal trainer and really having that instilled work ethic, I want to give to you guys. Put in that hard yards, put in that effort, and you'll reap rewards on it further down the track if it's days, weeks, months, and years. Because here I am now, not being able to walk for 3 months, and I can walk and get around and support my family and go to work and lead a pretty normal life. So it does pay dividends. Those little insignificant steps at the start are big leaps and bounds in your future. So guys, point number three is probably the best piece of advice that I ever got. And it was actually from my brain surgeon. My brain surgeon was Charlie Teo. He's a world famous and world renowned surgeon. I go to him, I go, Charlie, how am I ever going to get better? What's your one piece of advice to recover as quickly as possible from this? Because I can't walk, I can't eat, I can't swallow, I can't see. He goes, mate, honestly, he goes, just live your life. Life will throw little hurdles and curveballs at you, and you got to react to them. He's like, go on roller coasters, cook, go to live music gigs, play sport, interact with your children or your nieces and your nephews. All these little things in your life, sport, cooking, requires you to do these little fine motor skill movements, or these things that will require you to have agility or think quickly and react quickly. All this stuff over time, i.e. just living your life, will get you better and better and better at living your life. So yeah, I've gone from bedridden to going to live music gigs, to getting new jobs, to having a child, to becoming engaged, to going on trips overseas. Like, me living my life and doing these things over and over and over again, where it may seem difficult or intricate or, I guess, unnecessary now while you're in the crux of your rehabilitation, doing these little repetitive movements over time will heavily pay off. So a quick example, I used to type one-handed because my left hand was so uncoordinated. It was way slower for me to type. And if I wanted to hit a W on the keyboard, I'd end up hitting an E or a Q. It was really frustrating and slow. But what I've done, I've trained myself just to use both hands, and I'm getting way better at it. It's not perfect. I'm not going to do 60 words per minute, but it's way better than me one finger pounding the keys, and my left hand's never going to get better if I don't use it. So, guys, you got to use it or you'll lose it. You're trying to retrain the pathways in your brain, and the more times you use both your hands or both your feet, or chopping carrots, or playing sport, or picking up your niece or your nephew or your kid, really gets you used to living life again and becoming the most rehabilitated version of yourself that you can possibly do. Um, so, guys, I'd love to know about any tips you have on your rehabilitation or your recovery, and if anything really stood out to you that made you recover quite quickly. I'd also love to know if you've found something that you couldn't do but you've now recovered from. I'd really be interested to hear from you. So chuck those kind of comments in the comment section of this video, and I'm going to wrap up the video by sending out any positive vibes to any of you going through chemo, radiotherapy, or another treatment, or if you're going in for an MRI and you're waiting for results from your surgeon. I'm wishing nothing but the best, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.